I run this wood shop in LA where we make implements of survival. You know what we're gonna need to get around when we run out of fuels? Boats, mother. All you need for that shit is wind and water. I make boats. I make shovels. I make axes. I make primitive sex swings. We will survive.
When I turned 40, I had a panic attack. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it, I'm 40. Around them, they're like, what? What? You're just a child. You're still a child. And I'm like, yeah, I'm still a child. But I feel bad for them because they don't have that in their life. Like when they turn 90, they don't have anybody making them feel better. Like they don't have a friend that's like 150 to tell them that, you know what I mean? When they're like, I can't believe it. I am 90. They don't have a 150-year-old friend like,
having kids. I do. I'm 37. I could have kids. I think about it. Until literally every time I call my brother, who has 3 boys under the age of 12. Yeah. Every time I call him, 30 seconds into our phone call, his entire life turns into the back half of the film Point Break. We'll just be chatting along, and then out of nowhere, he's like, 1 second, what's in your hands? Show me those hands! One's on the roof, one's on the roof. Where'd you get a Nixon mask? That joke does better if you've seen Point Break.
My neighborhood's nice. It's a nice neighborhood, nice school. At school drop-off, all the kids, when they get dropped off, all the teachers are waiting outside to greet them. The principal's there, everybody's there. Let's have a good day. We're gonna do it. All that shit, you know? So they're all there hanging out. And we roll up, and we're rolling up to the school, and another song comes on the playlist. One of my other favorites, Forget You by CeeLo Green. Oh yeah, you're with me. Daddy accidentally put the explicit version, F*** You by CeeLo Green on there. And by the time I realized I go to change it, and my son goes, if it's in a song, we could say it. And my daughter chimes in and goes, Gattos keep their word. They got me on a technicality. We roll up to the school, my 2 kids are like, F*** you, ooh. I got an email from the principal, conference requested.
I did go to art school. I really did. I tried to go to Chicago Art Institute, could not afford it. I went to art school in Detroit. I started in painting, and then I ended up studying performance art. Anybody know what that is? My one art school buddy in the back. I do. Performance art, I think it started in the early 70s, and it was like, you're making an art object, but there's no object. You're painting and drawing, but you don't use, pencils. You're using abstract ideas. There's no beginning, there's no end. Okay, I'll give you an example. My school was on the 2nd floor, and this one guy's performance art piece was to jump from the 2nd floor window to a tree that was about 150 feet away, and that was his art piece. Another lady had lined up butter pats on the ground like dominoes, and then she invited us to the spot, and she was overweight, and her piece was crawling on the ground eating each butter pat. That was her piece. Another guy slowly put makeup on into a mirror while we watched with a single light bulb hanging overhead, slowly colored in his lips, put on his, taped his genitals to the side, and stared at us. Like, what are you looking at? And that was his art piece. It took me a little while to realize, but now I see that art school is just a word for mental illness.
somebody told me this. They were like, hey, when people say bless your heart, they can mean it in a good way or a bad way. And I was like, what? Like, how you do a bad bless? And they're like, no, trust me, sometimes that's not what they mean. So now, anytime somebody tells me bless your heart, just to be safe, I reply with, bless your heart. Yeah, I wish you would bless my heart. Bless it again, go ahead.
This is 100% true. So when my daughter was about 4.5, my wife was out of town, and we were having breakfast, and there was a little lull in the conversation, and I'm over, cleaning up some dishes and stuff. And then after about a minute, she says to me, and apropos of nothing, we had not been talking about anything like this at all. So she just comes out with this. She goes, Daddy, I'm sad you're going to die soon. And, my immediate reaction was like, oh my God. She's a witch.
I used to go and get ice cream. I wasn't making classy choices. I didn't have a mature palate. I'd run in there, I'd say, give me the triple choc chip surprise. Give me the hokey pokey googa. Give me the Rocky Road bubblegum idiot dickhead. Childish flavours. I don't get ice cream anymore. I get gelato. I sidle into the gelatismo, wearing a silk tuxedo. They say, what would you like? I don't ogle the selections. I don't lean against the glass. I lean back as far as I can. I make my mouth really, really small. And I say, pistachio.
So I woke up in a good mood recently, and I had a message on my Facebook comedy page. It was from a man in Slovakia. The message was simple. It said, hey, you suck and you look like a potato. Devastating to find out the real reason my Irish boyfriend's attracted to me. Text my boyfriend upset, and he went, the most beautiful potato I've ever seen. Went on for 4 months. He messaged me, he messaged my agent, he messaged a few comedians. The message was always the same. Fern Brady looks like a potato. Every time I told my friends, this is the worst thing. Anytime I told my friends, they all had the same answer. The answer was never, it's okay, you don't look like a potato. They all said the same thing. Every single one of them went, well, I love potatoes.
The reason I know I'm from a meth town is because until about 8th grade, I thought garages just blew up sometimes. That just happened. McKiskey? Yep, factual joke. And no one tells you why the garages are blowing up as a child. So you come up with theories. As a little kid, I was like, sun must have got hot. Then I grew up and I was like, it can't be the sun. That doesn't make any sense. Why aren't all the garages blowing up? So I was like, it's the garage refrigerator for sure. It's gotta be the garage refrigerator, Because as a kid, people would be like, go get me a popsicle. I'm like, are you out of your mind? You want me to go to the most combustible part of the house? I don't even keep my bike in there. Because the garage refrigerator is always making noise. It's your worst appliance. And it's really exciting to be able to tell this joke where people understand what a garage refrigerator is. It's wonderful, okay? Because I live in Los Angeles right now. And when I talk about having a garage refrigerator to a Los Angeles audience, all they hear is 2 refrigerators. Someone must have grown up a billionaire. And I have to correct him. I'm like, oh no, you don't understand what a garage refrigerator means for most of the United States. A garage refrigerator simply means you finally got a new refrigerator. And then you said, don't throw the broken one away. That's for weird shit now. That's for things that should get cold, but if they don't, that's still okay. That's for things we don't want around the everyday milk and eggs, you know? That's for more loose deer meat in a Ziploc. That's what we're gonna put out in the garage refrigerator. Stuff from your neighbor, that goes in the garage refrigerator. You know what I mean? Your neighbor Jerry shows up, he's like, you want any of this meat? Nah, I shot him. Like, you wrecked your car, Jerry, you hit that fucking meat, I know that. That's hit meat. I'll take it though, thank you so much. I know your processing plant, they do a great job, all right. I'm gonna put it out with the hot beer. I thought I was really rich growing up. I really did. I thought we were very rich. It doesn't take a lot to feel rich when you grow up in a meth town. It doesn't. Like, my dad sold cars and my mom was a babysitter, and I was like, I get why we're Republican. Keep the government out of this combined annual income of $55,000 for a family of 5. That's our Ford Taurus we share, not the government. You find out how poor you actually grew up with how late in your life you learn Red Lobster's not a fancy restaurant. And somebody didn't laugh and you're still poor, and that's okay. You have a goal now, that's exciting. Next time you pop down to Seattle, give it a shot. You can afford it, I promise. We think it's great, but it's the Applebee's of the sea, that's what it is. I didn't know Red Lobster wasn't fancy until I was 37. And I'm 37. It was months ago. It was this summer it happened, okay? I was in New York City with my friends. We were in Times Square and we were walking. There's a 3-story Red Lobster. I was like, whoa! And I took my phone out, started taking photos of a fucking Red Lobster because it was 3 stories. I was like, oh, nobody's gonna believe this. Nobody back home is gonna believe that I saw a 3-star Red Lobster. That must be the mother, you know, like. And my friends are like, you love Red Lobster? I was like, oh, I love Red Lobster. Like, let's go. And I'm like, we wish. Someday. And they're like, no, for real, let's just go. I was like, no, for real, I got fucking shorts on. We're not getting in. That's a khakis only establishment, all right? Someone's grandpa in town gonna pay for that? That joke hit. You love when you're doing a stand-up special and one person in the crowd laughs. That's what you're going for. I connected with one guy, and we filmed this, and we flew the whole crew to Alaska. That's what we was trying to get, baby! One guy. I grew up in like a Big Lots part of the United States. Do you guys know what Big Lots is? Yeah? Who doesn't? Who doesn't know what Big Lots is? I'm gonna explain it to you guys, and congratulations. You lucky bastards. I'm gonna explain Big Lots to you. Imagine Kmart in the middle of a divorce. That's Big Lots. It's like an unshowered Kmart. You woke up, you know? Like you walk in and you're like, are you open? And it goes, your dad took the shelves. We're a piles and bins family now. Dig around. That's Big Lots slogan if you don't know. Dig around. You want a DVD? Check the spoon aisle. I don't know. This was a yard sale till someone built a prison around it. Yeah. I got really good at drinking in the Midwest. I got so good at it. I'm fantastic at it. I know I'm not Alaska good, but I'm still, I'm aware that I'm treading on your territory. Like, whoa, we have the biggest problems. But I'll put Iowa against Alaska, we're going pretty hard together, all right? We both know it sucks. But I grew up in Iowa, and then I moved to Los Angeles from Iowa. And if you move straight to Los Angeles with the ability to drink like you grew up in Iowa or Alaska, they want you to go to rehab. It frightens them with how much you can drink. They're like, how many beers did you have? And you're like, tonight or today. Like, you drink too much. I'm like, have you met literally everyone I've ever met? I'm the weak link on my flip cup team.
So you guys are Reno 911 fans? Sweet Terry. Sweet Terry. Yeah. So one of my favorite things that happened, again, true story. So this is pre-COVID. I'm at my local sports bar, day drinking and watching sports, which is what I love, watching all my teams lose. So I'm sitting there day drinking, and it was to the point where, and you know what I'm talking about, day drinking or night drinking, when you're at the bar and you have that inner monologue where you're like, oh, I should not be in public. It's that horrible feeling where it's like, okay, gotta go home. So I live 2 blocks from this bar, key detail. So I'm like, I'm gonna walk home. When I say walk, that's a very loose term. I call it newborn baby drunk walking. You know what I'm talking about. Have you seen a newborn baby take their first steps and they're so happy they're not falling down? It's a look of pure joy. And that's what I looked like. And I'll show you. Here's me walking home from the bar, fucking shit-faced. Here I go. So I made it a block and then wipe out. Yeah, so I fall down onto a lawn and I was like, oh shit, I better take a nap. Yeah, it's nap time, I'm not stupid. So hours go by, I get woken up by police, flashlights on my face. And they were like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, I'll go sleep. And they're like, hey, you can't do that. That's not your lawn, that's not your house. And I was like, I'm really drunk. And they were like, yeah, we weren't even gonna ask that. We didn't think you were camping alone with no equipment. So a panic attack as I'm drunk in public. So I pull my license out and I go, hey, that's me. I go, I live right there. I was trying to walk home. I was at the bar watching my teams lose. I got sad. So I did a bunch of shots. So, yeah. And the cop's like, okay, are you okay to walk now? I'm like, no. So he's like, oh my God. So him and the other cop help me up. And they walk me to my home. And they walk me into my home. And they put me into my bed. Yeah, it's a true story. And I was sitting there and I was like, what the fuck is going on? So they're walking out of my bedroom. I didn't know what to do, so I go, thank you, officer. And the cop turns to me and just goes, sweet dreams, Terry. Terry from Reno 911, America's sweetheart on roller skates. But it made me laugh visualizing them rolling up on that scene, being like, yep, found the guy, he's right here. Yeah, he's passed out. Yeah, he's gone. Yeah. It's fucking Terry. From Reno 911. No hand jobs or roller skates. He's just in the spirit world. Let's get him home. And they did. So you guys like Grandma's Boy? Sweet Grandma's Boy, the best fans on the planet. The best. Shit's weak. So one of my favorite things, people always go, hey, I love Grandma's Boy. Why wasn't it in the movie theaters? And I'm like, it was. For like a half hour, and then theaters were like, nope, ain't. But it was in the theaters long enough for this to happen. My mother calls me up. She goes, Nicholas, we have a situation. And I go, what, are we out of mayonnaise? She goes, no, that would be an emergency. She goes, no, Grandma went to go see Grandma's Boy in the theater. And I was like, who told her to do that? And she goes, nobody. Grandma was having breakfast, reading the paper, and there was a big ad for a movie called Grandma's Boy, co-starring Nick Swardson, co-written by Nick Swardson. Sit on my face. Adios, turd nuggets. It's fucking rage. So, love you. So I go, okay, what happened? She goes, well, her nurse brought her to the theater in her wheelchair. And I was like, then what happened? She goes, then Grandma walked out of the movie. Yeah, so I cured her. Yeah, you're welcome, Grandma. So my grandma was horrified, obviously. So I didn't want to call her and upset her, so I called her nurse. And she answers the phone, she's like, hello? I'm like, what's up, pussy lips? No, I'm kidding, I didn't say that. I go, hey, what's up, it's Nick. And she just goes, ugh. And I go, I heard what happened. At what point did my grandma realize this movie was not her life story? Like, what was the breaking point? Do you remember? And she goes, yeah. When the guy started jerking off to the doll, and he goes, I can't stop coming, it feels so good. And then you said, I can't believe you came on my mom. My grandma was like, nope. That is not my life. That's not my life. Yes. But such is life. It's so bad, man. So, one of my other favorite movies that I was a writer on was a movie called Malibu's Most Wanted. Malibu, Malibu. If you don't know it, it's about a white rapper named B-Rad, starring Jamie Kennedy, one of my best friends. Great actor, comedian. If you don't know who Jamie is, he was in all the original Scream movies. So I used to live with Jamie. I moved in with him. We wrote the script together. We made the movie, and I moved out. So one of my favorite things I like to do, going back to my immaturity, is I love scaring people. I love scaring the shit out of my friends. You know when you get a good scare out of somebody and you're like, fucking yes. So I'm having dinner with Jamie way long after Malibu. And in my head, I'm having dinner with Jamie and I go, you know what? Jamie was in the Scream movies. Maybe he wants to live them. So I leave the dinner, double back to his home that I used to live in again, park in the alley. I go through my car. Somebody had given me a gag gift. It was a baseball hat with a long-haired wig sewn into it. And I'm like, that's gonna come in handy. So I take my shirt off so he doesn't recognize it, put on the hat with the wig, hop the fence, break into his home, go into his kitchen, and I get the biggest knife that I can find. And I go into his living room, and I just stand in the dark, right in the corner of his living room. And in my head, I'm like, this might be too far. But he walks in the front door, I'm like, nope, game on, here we go. So I don't move, I just stand there. And he walks in like any of us would, tired from the day, throws his keys down, turns on the light, sees me. It's the most scared I've ever seen a human in my life. He made a sound from the depths of Mordor. He sees me and just does this. No! No! Now I'm scared. I drop the knife and take my hat off. I'm like, it's me, Nick! And he goes, what is wrong with you? Why did you do that? I'm like, did I scare you?
My whole life I've been a romantic. I used to be made fun of in school, and I learned later that it was because the people making fun of me were not getting any. I knew, even in school, you know. Oh, you guys kissing in the hallway? Yes. That's because I can't get a blowjob in the hallway. How's football going, bro? We stay home, we're boring. That's a key. It really is. We're homebodies. We love to stay in and read books and play cards and do puzzles. We watch HGTV. We do a shitload of cocaine, and then we mainly focus on puzzling. Honey, give me the fucking sky pieces! Fucking love puzzles. There's something so soothing about a field of cerulean blue when I'm using amphetamines. My wife turned 50 a few years ago, which is a big birthday in a society that bases a lot of systems on the number 100. And I said, honey, this is a big birthday. Do you want something special, a bauble of some sort? And she said, no, you know, just make me one of your cards. By the way, if you're in a relationship, make your significant other a fucking card, please. I always make cards for Megan. I make her lots of gifts as well. Every time I'm doing it around my friends or coworkers, they always say the same thing. Oh, thanks a lot, man. You make us look so bad. Every time you make a card, my wife points it out to me, and I say, let me tell you something, Rob Lowe. I'm gonna tell you right to your face. You turn those bluegills on anybody, and you don't have to do shit. Please just keep looking at me. His face is magic. Folks, let's talk about merging for a second. What the fuck? I think we all know by now. You take turns. But sometimes, when you're in that side that has the advantage because the other side's trying to get in, you just can't help it. It's their turn. And you're like, no, motherfucker. No, 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 no. A gentleman performed this act upon me, and naturally, I was fucking incensed. Are you fucking kidding me? It's merge, dude. It's my turn. It's steam coming out my ears. And I pulled behind him, and everything changed. I realized that he was driving a salt-caked, pearlescent Chrysler 300, which is a fucking seriously badass attempt at a car with the vanity plate Thunder Road. And I said, "You magnificent motherfucker. If you're going to whip out your throbbing cudgel of a cock and bludgeon the rest of us about the face and mouth with your hot rod fuck wagon, you may have my place in line, sir. You, my friend, are living." Is the Bible full of great lessons? No question. Religious writings in general, the Bible, the Quran, the Tao Te Ching, Grimm's fairy tales, Battlestar Galactica, the Redux. These holy texts are rife with morals and lessons of value about how to be decent to one another and how to share our space and our planet. But when Jesus said something like, "Love thy neighbor as thyself," I heard that in Sunday school and I said, "Fucking nailed it, Jesus." That's why you're the teacher, my friend. Thank you. And I went home and I went to my neighbor, Mr. Severson, and I said, "I like it like this, Mr. Severson. I get it's a little backhand. I've got this cleft in my palm. Feeling it?" Mr. Severson liked it as well. Again, I have nothing against like any religion or club, especially any get-together where people are like, "You know what? We're fucked up monkeys." Like, a great part of our innate being is we want to like fuck each other and eat each other and kill each other, and many of those things at the same time. We want to fuck each other while we shit in each other's mouths, some of us. The permutations are endless. But we've learned with socialization, that's not cool to just go up to people and start doing stuff like that. So we've established these guidelines and we have these get-togethers of like, everybody come to the big building, or just once a week, let's just remind ourselves not to shit in our neighbor's wife's mouth. Unless it's consensual, you know. Nothing is set in stone. Here's the thing. It's like two people loving each other and, you know, with or without children, trying to build like a loving, productive household and be good citizens. It sounds good, you know, they play a good game, but have you read Leviticus? So it's great this issue is getting attention. However, I am irked by all the attention that it's getting, all the ruckus and hubbub about same-sex marriage, when all the while, motherfucking vegetarians are marrying, bearing children, right outside, right on these streets. They're fucking filthy, herbivorous urchins are prancing down your sidewalks with a canvas bag full of kale. I use one bag. I know how to pronounce quinoa. Instead of legislation founded squarely upon the Bible, I'd like to see some laws pitched based on the writings of John Ronald Reuel Tolkien. That shit makes sense. Elrond was elected to lead the elves at Rivendell, not only despite his androgynous nature, but quite likely because of the magical leadership inherent in a well-appointed bisexual elf wizard. That's the guy you want picking shit out for your community. Who do you want throwing your gala? Who do you want to hand menu selections and a color palette to? David Bowie or a fucking Mormon? Something I love about New York is it's obviously vibrant citizenry fucking shoving, elbowing down the streets. Everybody's living like a motherfucker. Just children, little old ladies, get the fuck out of my way. And there's this sense of like, hey, move, fuck you! There's a life, there's a vibrancy, and now everyone is doing this, and so you have to go up to people and be like, excuse me, fuck you. Sorry, go ahead. In woodworking, everybody knows what a chisel is. It's a long, flat piece of steel, the end of which forms a wedge-shaped tip that you sharpen to a very sharp edge, so sharp and strong that you can use it to shave wood like soap or butter. And the first time you do that correctly, you're hooked, you're bewitched. And everything in a wood shop is just some version of that chisel. A saw blade in a circular saw is just 36 little chisels in a machine that spins around. It's all just a form of a chisel shaping wood. And when you realize, I can shape this wood into anything I want to, it's so powerful, and I know that I have a lifetime of study in front of me that will be incredibly pleasing, just like eating pussy. It's so sad that so much of our society says, man, thank God it's Friday. Thank God 5 of the 7 days of my life are fucking over because I hate 5/7 of my life. Now I'm gonna spend 2/7 getting drunk at the Olive Garden so I don't have to think about the upcoming 5/7. Thank God. That's so sad. Find something to do that you love, or at least something you can do that you can tolerate so that you can then have time to do what you love after work. Maybe it's grow things in the garden or whatnot. Fuck cantaloupes, whatever your thing is. All I'm saying is that the internal combustion engine, the telephone, the hardline telephone, amazing miracles in their day. But the thing about the phone, when you hang it up on the wall, you then don't come back every few minutes to see if it's gonna do something cool. Of like, no, hang on, you guys, hang on. No, just I want to see if it's gonna refresh or. I know I want to come play baseball too, but there might be a worthy distraction. You guys go ahead. That's all I'm saying. Is baseball is better than waiting for that. By the way, I had a little news. I've heard some rumblings. I just want to take a brief moment to say something to the gentleman. If a lady says to you, I can't wait to get your dick in my mouth. I love to suck your dick. She is lying to you. She's telling you a beautiful lie. She's giving you a generous gift. You need to reciprocate that shit. You guys, it's a relationship. It's absolutely equal. When you think about it, a dick is like a thumb with a pee hole. How good can your thumb taste? You know, they're not sitting at work thinking, man, I want to fucking get Eric's dick in my mouth ASAP. I just love the way his dick tastes. That's false. And you get stressed out. You don't look like people on magazines. You get upset. It's so sad when you see your friends that you're like, why do you weigh 72 pounds? There's bacon. Like, you go buy shit or pay surgeons to cut your face open and take shit out or put shit in. What the fuck? If you're gonna spend your money, get something that works every time, like bacon. How bad can it be that cutting your nose off and like sculpting it with inorganic shit is being like, oh, thank God. Phew. If you saw me before, my nose was a slightly different shape. But after like thousands of dollars and a painful surgery, now it has a slightly more of a button on it. What's the matter with you? Are you a human being? Then you're beautiful. Do you have one of these? Then you're fucking beautiful. Go out. What you're doing is comparing an organic form designed by nature with an anorexic, airbrushed, erotic cartoon. It's never gonna match up. And if it does, it's gonna be gross. If you go out in this beautiful part of the country and collect one leaf from every deciduous tree and one needle or pine cone from every conifer, take them all over to the Javits Center and lay them out in a vast array, and then go through them one by one, you will not find one that's not fucking gorgeous. There's some that are super fucked up compared to that other one. But those trees aren't worrying about it. Yeah, being an elm is okay, but have you seen the sycamores? They're fucking amazing. It's all beautiful. I was obsessed with her. She was super smart, super funny, charisma coming out of her ears. I wanted her. The problem was she would only date you if you went whole hog, full-on born-again Christian, which would have been insane. So I did that. I go, where? Yeah, and I cry, and okay, great. No hesitation. Jesus? Yeah, I fucking love him. He's my savior. I got saved, and we started dating, and after 4 or 5 months of fellowship and prayer, togetherness, we rutted like filthy beasts. If you see your wastrel friend at the liquor store, like, John, what's up with the 12-pack? Sorry, man. Do you even have your paper route anymore? Sorry. I put it back. I'll just get beef jerky. But if you see the same friend and say, John, what's with the 12-pack? And he says, I just got off a shift at the lumber mill. You say, enjoy those 12 beers, John. When we work hard, we have earned the right to use intoxicants. If you just use intoxicants, and I've crunched the numbers on this one too, you get depressed. It's so great to strike a balance. Beer, wine, whiskey, and the lesser spirits, taken in the proper doses and used safely. Intoxicants can provide some of the most beautiful and joyous moments in your life. They can certainly ignite your creativity and just be fucking really fun. Or you can use them like an asshole and ruin it for the rest of us who just wanted to get high and go outside and look at a maple leaf.
And speaking of unwanted pregnancies, I've learned so much from my daughter. It just like, and one thing I learned that they don't really tell you about, but you have to like constantly censor yourself, edit your responses to the kids, like, because kids will often say some really funny shit, just some gems, right? But you can't laugh because they didn't intend for it to be funny, so it's upsetting to them. It seems dismissive, and they're trying to be sincere, and so you can't laugh. It's you know, they take it poorly, and a good example of this, like, this is 100% true. So when my daughter was about 4 and a half, my wife was out of town, and we were having breakfast, and there was a little lull in the conversation, and I'm over, cleaning up some dishes and stuff. And then after about a minute, she says to me, and apropos of nothing, we had not been talking about anything like this at all. So she just comes out with this. She goes, Daddy, I'm sad you're going to die soon. And, my immediate reaction was like, oh my God. She's a witch. And I went over and I sat down next to her, And I very quickly bound her hands and legs, threw her in her sack, drove to a river, and dumped her off the bridge. But here's the thing, I love that kid so much, and I'm almost embarrassed to say that I'm surprised at how much I love her. Not because of her, but I just didn't think I was capable of that depth of love for another person or thing, you know? I mean, I used to think I had kind of a mild form of autism when it came to love, because I never had that connection that, you know, you see in the movies and the poems and the books and the The Notebook. I've never felt like that, you know, like Wuthering Heights. You know, I haven't read it, but I assume there's some love shit in there, and I've just never felt that for anything, any person. You know, and I have a wonderful dog, you know, and but I would take a bullet for that kid. Instinctively, I would take a bullet for her. I would not take a bullet for my wife. No. No. Absolutely not. No. Fuck that. No. Wait. Honey, it's your bullet, he said. He said I'll be downstairs playing video games. No, but I would take a bullet for my dog. Now, here's the thing. I love that kid so much. I really do. But at the same time, and I'm 100% sincere when I say this, I also resent her. I really do. Because she's rich. She's a fucking rich kid. And I know it's not right. I know it's a leftover hangover prejudice I had since I was a kid. I grew up really poor, and I was always suspicious of rich people. I didn't get it. I didn't like it. And I just didn't like rich people. I still don't, you know? And I'm rich, you know? I mean, I'm not rich. I pay my taxes, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. And when that kid is whining about dumb shit, I'm like, oh, stop it. You're fucking rich. Stop, you know, you have central air. Do you understand? Are you hot? Push that button, you'll cool down. Are you cold? Push that button, you heat up. You have a teepee in your playroom that's not your bedroom. Can you conceive of how fucking rich you're sitting there eating an organic banana that your mother made me go to 3 fucking places in the rain to get you an organic banana. Like that fucking matters. It's the biggest scam in the world. It's bullshit. Anybody can throw an organic sticker on anything. Nobody does their due diligence. It's all. Also, are you eating the peel? All right, then who gives a shit? Why do I have to pay a 500% markup for a fucking organic banana? You're not gonna eat. Okay, so I'm sorry. Let me get this straight. So, our water is contaminated, our air is polluted, our homes are slowly trying to kill us. But yeah, an organic banana, that'll set everything straight. Good. Hey, you know what? I didn't have anything organic until I was 40, and that was by accident, and I'm fine. All right. So seriously, quit your whining, young lady. Seriously, listen to me. Listen to me. Until you drive your 1982 Chevy Malibu with a broken side mirror an hour and a half through a snowstorm in a Western Mass so you can do a set for a bunch of disinterested, drunk, anti-Semitic, racist Christian patriots for $30 and a cold egg roll, then you can complain to me about how your purse doesn't have as many sparkles as Madeline's, all right? Also, that purse, that was made by prison labor. That's right, an innocent man was framed by a bunch of dirty cops. They planted drugs on him so they could boost their gotchas, right? They knowingly, and because he was black and indigent, they were just like, oh, this'll work, and they planted drugs on him. Then, when the rest of the precinct found out about it, you know what they did? They all covered up for him. The whole thing is corrupt. From top to bottom, they're all corrupt pieces of shit. And then those cops perjured themselves on the witness stand and in cahoots with a crooked prosecutor and a crooked judge knowingly sent an innocent man to prison, ruining generations of lives. He made your purse. Another thing that's changed since I had a kid is news affects me more. It affects me differently. It affects me in deeper ways that I can't shake, that are depressing. And like before I had a kid, get up in the morning, cup of tea, turn on the computer, and there's a Yahoo News front page, and be like, top story, a woman in Florida murdered her 3-year-old daughter. And, before I had a kid, I'd be like, fuck, man, that's messed up. How'd the Braves do? Now that I have a kid, I see those stories and I cannot shake them. And they really are depressing and disturbing. And, next morning, a man in Florida murdered his 6-year-old son. Jesus, fuck. God damn. Next morning, a woman in Florida murdered her 4-year-old daughter and son. Jesus. Next morning, a man in Florida murdered all his nieces under the age of 8. Next morning, a couple in Florida murdered their twins. And I see this you murdered a 3-year-old? What the fuck is wrong with you? You don't have to murder a 3-year-old. They're 3. There's a million ways they can die. Just leave them at the top of the stairs and go do laundry. What are you thinking? You don't have to scream and yell when they're running into the median. Just like, Cody, stop. You're not thinking, right? Hey, kiddo. Hey, here's 5 inches of water. I'm gonna go make some fish sticks. Oh no, I'm free. What the fuck? Now you're gonna go to jail for the rest of your life. It's stupid, it's depressing. It's really disturbing and depressing. And also you live in Florida. Avail yourselves of the services there. Just be patient. There's like a 32.6% chance they'll be shot to death by the time they're in 8th grade. Come on now. Is your kid black or brown? The cops will murder him for you. Man, I think it is really messed up that they're gonna have to change the end of the Flintstones theme song just because of Florida. You get it? How you guys doing up there? You guys get it? How about y'all? Do y'all get it up there? Back of the house? You guys? All right, that's enough time. Man, what is going on in Florida? They are just so proudly ignorant. They love it. They love they're oh my gosh, it's amazing. This is true. This is only a couple weeks old. All right, this is for real. I'm gonna read this to you. Don't have it memorized. All right. If you want to see the outcome of Ron DeSantis's Stop Woke Act, look no further than changes made to a first grade social studies text about Rosa Parks. All right, so here's what the old version was that kids were learning about Rosa Parks. The law said African Americans had to give up their seats on the bus if a white person wanted to sit down. Well, that's pretty much what it was. But apparently that was causing the youth of Florida to just, I don't know, just become heroin addicts. It's tough. It's tough news to process. So they had to change it. Stop woke. So they changed it. So they changed it to, she was told to move to a different seat because of the color of her skin. All right, it's pretty much, well, I mean, it's less specific, but that's not incorrect. And but apparently too much. Again, the kids were committing mass suicide, just jumping into trains, and it was just awful when they were told that. So they changed it further. What I'm going to read to you is what they are currently teaching kids in Florida about Rosa Parks. She was told to move to a different seat. She did not. She did what she believed was right. Yeah. That's, I don't know if you noticed, they leave a little wiggle room in there. She did what she believed was right. We're not saying it's right, because, you know, I mean, she should have just moved and listened, you know, obeyed her superiors, and she didn't. Sounds like somebody was getting a little too big for their britches, and she wouldn't move. And I mean, she did what she believed was right, and now we got to deal with all these vape stores. The Rosa Parks story. Martin Luther King Jr. told us all about a dream he had. But everyone knows it's boring when people tell you their dreams. He was rude and insolent. Nevertheless, a kindly white gentleman named James Earl Ray was so moved by his dream that he decided to gift Martin Luther King with a present. He looked around his house. What is there? What could I possibly give him? Then he said, you know what? I'll give him these free bullets. But I live so far away, how can I get them to him quickly? In Germany in 1932, a confused but well-meaning young man tried to come up with a solution to a problem everyone had. He tried everything, but nothing worked. And he was forced to use his final solution. And although there were very fine people on both sides, two wrongs don't make a right.